Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm JR, and with my guy Dylan from the Boiler Express, and today we're firing up our bold predictions for the 2025 season for Big Ten football. We're dropping 5 bold predictions each that could flip the conference upside down. We're talking about Wisconsin, Washington, coaches getting fired, and so much more. We'll break down why these could go down and answer your fan questions as well. Get your bold predictions in the chat, or if you're on podcast, email, comment your bold predictions. Would love to hear what you have to say. This is the Big Ten Huddle, where we bring you the heat and the fun and the insightful analysis on every single Big Ten team, celebrating the pulse of Big Ten football. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your bold predictions in the comments as well. If you're listening on podcast, give us that 5-star review. It takes you 2 seconds. Just scroll on down, hit the 5 stars, helps us out, helps us grow. We would greatly appreciate it. Catch our daily episodes Monday through Friday by 9 a.m. or join our live YouTube shows Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. to hop into the chat and contribute to the episode. Follow us on Twitter/X and Instagram at the Big Ten Huddle for more fun, rankings, discussion, all those things. We'd love to have you over there. Thanks for rolling with us. Let's dive into these bold predictions. Bold predictions. We brought on the boldest guy we know for this. That is one Dylan Kuhn, DK of the Boiler Express podcast. Dylan, let's preface this first, okay? These are bold predictions. These are not, predictions we're making outright. These are things that people are not expecting to happen, could happen, but people are not necessarily expecting to happen. And we're not necessarily predicting they will happen, but we're saying there is a good possibility it could happen. Did I describe that correctly?
Yeah, if anybody takes what I say seriously in the first place, that's on them. I can come in with some facts. I can be a professional sometimes, as I feel like I was pretty professional in the first segment. But the gloves are off now, and we're gonna get a little crazy. So let me preface by saying an asterisk: don't take what I say seriously. If you do, that's on you.
There you go. He said it, and it's true because he said it. So just get ready for it. All right, Dylan, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, so 5 bold predictions, 5 from me, 5 from Dylan. We'll let Dylan go first. Dylan, what is your number 1 bold prediction?
Last year, we'll preface, the SIG was hot. The SIG was burning, and the SIG was burning quick. But now, as your man did, Howard, we're going to stomp it out. We're going to twist our foot, and we're going to let the smoke settle. Indiana football is going to not be good. They're not going to have the year that I think their fans all of a sudden think they're the Patriots, or they're up there with the Buckeyes or whoever else. They're not. And Cignetti is going to have a rough year. You talk about they got Illinois, Iowa, and Oregon back to back to back. That's tough. And when you look at it compared to their schedule last year, it was a cakewalk for them. I mean, listen, did they have a great year? Sure. Did they have good? Yeah, they did great. Fine. Sure. Great. Whatever. But I think their honeymoon phase of the SIG era is going to be it's going to run out, and they're not going to have fun. And SIG's going to burn out real quick. Their schedule is brutal. I think, West Kansas Tech of the blind had a rougher schedule than what IU had last year. So will I be happy to see IU's downfall? Yes.
West Kansas Tech of the blind didn't even see it coming.
They did not. They did not see it coming. They didn't even know what to do.
They had no idea. Yeah. They had no idea.
Yes,
I gotta be honest.
You should Google that. Google that, please.
Dylan, I think this is the first time I've ever been on a podcast and somebody comes in with a bold prediction and they say Indiana football will not be good.
Right?
That is.
Listen, that's wild. That's a bold take to begin with. And I'm not saying it's a scolding hot, holy crap take, but I just wanted to throw out there that when Indiana is bad at football again, that I can clip this and be like, well, said it, told you, should have listened.
There you go. I'm all for it. I'm all for clipping it. Seek wants to know how many losses will Indiana have? You got a number here?
I don't have a number, but it's.
Your number's a billion. So
I could see them going like a 6-6 and making a Pop-Tart bowl or something. But I think Indiana, like I unfortunately have to be around IU fans a lot just because they're in my mentions because they're thinking about Purdue all the time. But they think they're going to go back to the playoffs this year. They think that they're going to be top of the Big Ten. It's going to be interesting. But I hate to burst their bubble. IU is going to be bad again, and their stadium's going to be empty. Have you ever been to Memorial Stadium?
I have, yes, multiple
Is it
times.
not a bad stadium? It's a bad stadium.
It it doesn't have a whole lot of unique features to it.
Yes.
I won't say it's a bad stadium, but there's not a whole lot that I look at it and say that screams Indiana football to me. There is the really nice area. I think it's on the north side of the end zone. The north end zone was a really nice area there. They've done a good job with that, but it's not a unique thing. Like
You
that
mean
that
they
is
went to
something that
Home
is.
Depot and bought 10 of the same patio sets and said, "Hey, here are some suites. Pay us a couple grand to sit there." Like I listen, Purdue has actually like Ross-Ade Stadium isn't, you know, AT&T Stadium. It's and you ask Eric from the big or from the OHIO pod, same with Chris and myself. Purdue Stadium was not built with people our size in mind. It's a tight squeeze. All right, the seats are very small. I have one somewhere. I don't know if I should show that because I don't know if I should have that, but I do have a seat from Purdue from Ross-Ade Stadium from the renovations. So like I'm not sitting here and be like Ross-Ade Stadium, but since the renovations, Ross-Ade has really turned around from the beer tent we had in the south end zone for a few years. But no, I just the steep walls around the field. It's just concrete everywhere. There's nothing. It's called Memorial Stadium with the 37 other Memorial Stadiums in college football. Like you can't find one person. At this point, I'm surprised they haven't named it Sig Stadium yet or the
They
Ashtray.
should. They
The
should just put a big cigarette in the middle of the field. That'd be
just
awesome.
call it the Ashtray, and it would be understandable. I wouldn't hate on him for it.
Now, I will say, Dylan, all right, we can't go too down on Memorial Stadium though, because have I ever told you my story about when I got box seats there?
No,
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
my no, it was fantastic. I didn't have to sit in the tiny seats. Because guess what? Ross-Ade is not unique in that everybody has tiny seats, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy for people with bigger bottoms. So, but no. So me and my my father-in-law, he I won't say what he does for a living or anything, but he knew somebody that is very high up at IU, and he was talking to them one day, and there was a game. I forget who it was against. It was maybe Virginia, I think it was. This was back in like 2019 or something like that. This was years ago. Maybe yeah, 2019, years ago. And so it was a game that he had seats to from somebody who was really high up. He didn't really know all that much about where the seats were. The guy just told him, "Yeah, ask one of the people in the suits where to go." And so my father-in-law was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So the game was terrible weather. I mean, it was pouring down rain, it was cold, it was wet. I mean, it was terrible environment. But you know me, I'm never one to say no to college football. So both his sons say no. His daughter says no, and he finally comes to me and he's like, "Hey, I guess I'll take the stupid son-in-law." He didn't say that, but I guess I'll take the son-in-law so that way I have somebody to go with me. I go with him. We're in ponchos, man. I mean, we're drenched wet because we just walked a mile to get to the stadium. And I'm like, "So where are our seats at?" He said, "I don't know. He just told me to ask one of the guys in the suits." And I said, "Okay." So we go up to one of the guys in the suits and we say, "Hey, do you know where to go to get to our seats?" And the guy in the suit, I kid you not, looked at the ticket or like the name badge, looked at us, kind of shook his head, and he was like, "Where did you guys get these from?" And we said, "Well, it's this guy. He knows, he knows him, and he let us use the tickets." And so he kind of chuckled and he said, "Yeah, go to the elevator over there." And we said, "Okay." He said, "Don't bother waiting in line. Just go to the head of the line."
Dang.
Okay. And so we went up to the head of the line and gave the other guy in the suit our name badges, and he said, "Yep, right this way." Elevator to ourselves, Dylan. Elevator to ourselves
Dang.
up to the box suite that was just us all by ourselves.
Man.
Unlimited food, buffet, fountain drinks. I mean, we had like a personal, person that was like adhering to us the entire time. tables. I mean, there were and it was all for us. There was nobody else in there. It was all for us. It was pretty fantastic.
That is what. Now they're in both end zones. There's none on the.
So this was up above the media box. So like
Oh, I
the
got you.
people that were getting into the elevator were the media. So we thought,
Dang.
oh, okay, we're like gonna go sit with the media or something like that. And they open an
Back
elevator.
then, what media went to IU football games?
Well, Dylan, I'm trying to
There's
say nice things here. Okay,
I can't go. I can't let you give IU too much credit. I
it's
just
okay.
can't. I can't let it happen.
I get it. I get it. All right. Anyway, that was my really long story. So we better get on with the bold predictions now. Dylan, I am more positive than you with my bold predictions. Wisconsin wins 7 games.
Ooh.
Now, you might be like, well, Wisconsin has won 7 games multiple times before. Go look at Wisconsin's schedule. Alabama, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. That's a crazy
That's a
schedule for them.
stupid schedule. Who did
Yeah,
that?
really, they're only gimme games, and I would even hesitate to call one of these a gimme game because Maryland could be better this year, but we'll see. It's Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, and Miami, or not Miami, sorry, Maryland. Maryland. That
Listen,
would be
Miami of
something if
Ohio's
they
in
played
my.
Miami.
The Red Hawks are in my backyard. Okay, they're my favorite MAC school because they're half an hour away from my house. Their hockey program stinks, but I still love going to games. I am a big go Red Hawks. I'm maybe finishing my teaching degree there. Don't know, but I love the Red Hawks.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they might get the win, and if they do, I highly doubt Wisconsin wins 7 games. So I'm crossing my fingers. My bold prediction is correct. So
I love
Wisconsin, don't
Maction.
screw it up. Give me 7 games here. They really only have 3 gimmies here, but we'll see if Luke Fickell getting rid of Phil Longo can get them to 7 games.
I like it.
All right, Dylan, what's your second bold prediction?
So I kind of have a 2-in-1 type of a situation. I think this year, and I don't think this is a very hot take, but I think this year is a Ohio State revenge tour. They on the way to beating Michigan by double digits, which I believe they will do. I hope they spike the flag in the middle of the field. That'd be awesome. But I think Ohio State's gonna just kill everybody because they're all 7 different ways pissed off at the world, even after coming off a national title. Just that's how much obviously the rivalry of Michigan means to them. But here's my but: they come to Purdue, and we all know that Ohio State, and we're not going to talk about last year, okay? But Ohio State has a history of coming to Purdue, and let's hope it's a night game. If this is a noon kickoff, I take back everything I said. But if it's a night game, listen, baby, the Boilers take care of business playing at Ohio, not really at Ohio State. The closest game I've been to at the Shoe and Purdue played there was 2003. Shout out to my guy Stu Schweiger, had a clutch interception, but lost by a game-winning field goal. And I was there as I don't know how old I was, but yeah. So we don't do well in Columbus. However, I do believe that Ohio State comes to Purdue, and instead of being a 1 seed or a 2 seed, we mess up their playoff seeding a little bit, and we take home a big win against the Buckeyes. And I will rush the field, and I will be so happy and
just
hated
by yourself.
just me rushing the field.
Hang on the drum.
Listen, I said this at multiple times in the OHIO pod. I've been, 2009, we beat Ohio State against with Terrell Pryor. Ryan Kerrigan had him in a headlock the entire game. You go to 2011, was there for that one. I believe that was Robert Marv. Shout out to Rob Marv. Pretty sure he's in jail. Last I heard about him. But a game-winning touchdown. And then, of course, 2018. I've had a pretty good run of rushing the field against the Buckeyes. And I would love to do it again. And I know my cohort, Russ, likes to accuse me of being a closet Ohio State fan. And there are people on the internet that say I give Ohio State too much credit. I used to despise Ohio State with every bone in my body. I used to hate the Buckeyes. I grew up in Ohio. I still live in Ohio. I live in Dayton. A lot of Ohio State people, 99% of them didn't attend Ohio State, but they sure do love the Buckeyes. So I've always hated them. Now I met Eric, I met you, I met even Wildman, who I'll give a little credit. And I was like, you know what? Ohio State fans aren't that bad. Maybe I should give them a little bit more credit. And I have. And I've gone to games as a neutral fan of sorts, even though I've sung on the Hang On Sloopy and all that. But I believe that, Urban Meyer lost to Purdue. Jim Tressel lost to Purdue. Who was the one before Tress? Cooper lost to Purdue. A lot of them. So, I mean, Ryan Day's due. All right. Hair dyed beard is due for a loss in West Lafayette. And I believe that happens this year, and I will be happily rushing the field.
We should have had Ryan Day's wife on this podcast. She'd come after you, like she came after what's his name.
I mean, you
Clay
cannot
Travis.
tell me that man. I don't mind Ryan Day, but buddy, you do not have that dark hair of a beard. I mean, even me, I'm 29, couple gray hairs. You can't really see it. Camera's not that good, but you can't tell me that man has a jet black beard. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Maybe he just has the genes for it. Who knows?
I mean, could be.
Steve says Max Clare 4 touchdowns against Purdue. That'd be something. Max Clare gets 4 touchdowns and Purdue still wins. Who's the Rondale Moore that you're hiding on your team to make that happen?
I don't want to say. I don't want to give Ohio State. I know Ryan Day's watching.
Yes, he is. He watches every episode. In fact, Curt Cignetti did use one of our graphics the other day on Twitter. So
did he really?
He did.
The SIG is tuning into the Big Ten Huddle. I love it.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope you see this, SIG. I hate you.
Listen, he would love it if I think Memorial Stadium was renamed the Ashtray.
I think there's sponsorship capabilities with that. Could you imagine
the sponsors
the Marlboro Ashtray Memorial Stadium and just have a giant cigarette just bumping ash whenever they score, and like smoke comes from it and ashes. Liz, if IU wants to hire me from some ideas, I won't take the job, but I'll give you some. These are free. All right, listen.
Freebies. Just listen to the Big Ten Huddle. You got some freebies. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying you're jealous. They're saying these are bold predictions, guys. I mean.
Well, I mean, if Cignetti strings along a few good years, I'll give him the credit. But you have one great year. You got more to go. This isn't, a one and done. You've got more work to do. More power to them. They had a hell of a year. If Purdue had a year that they had last year, oh, Lord Almighty, I would have never shut up about it. So I give him credit. I give him a little bit of credit. I'm just saying the honeymoon phase is over, and now it's time for talk.
We'll see. Curt Cignetti, I believe in you. So if you're watching the podcast out there, do not associate me with Dylan. All right, number 2.
So many people say that. Weird.
My number 2 bold prediction: Washington makes the playoffs and wins a college football playoff game.
Wow.
Washington Huskies.
I like it.
I think they do it.
I like their mascot. It's a good boy.
It is a good mascot. I think Washington has the ability here to go 10-2 this season. They're big games. They get Ohio State at home, Michigan on the road, and then they get Oregon at home. They do have Illinois, but that's another home game for them against Illinois, so that's a good opportunity there. This schedule is not, it's not Indiana last year or anything like that, but there are some favorable opportunities here. And as we saw on the top 100 players of the NCAA football video game, they got 3 of the top 100. So does this offensive line come together, give them the opportunity here? I think they got some guys that could possibly break out in the defensive line, like we talked about in the last episode. I don't have them rated super high because I don't know if it's going to happen. But if it does happen, I think you could see a 10-2 or 11-1 Washington team here this season. Again, bold prediction. I'm not predicting it will happen, but there is the opportunity there for that, and I think it'd be pretty cool if it happened.
I like it.
There we go. All right, Dylan, number 3.
So I think there are a good amount of people still high on Michigan and what they'll do this year. I think Michigan, and not only do I think, I kind of hope that Michigan's a dumpster fire. I think Sharon Moore doesn't survive the season. I think he gets booted. I think his seat right now is kind of toasty just off of what's happened. But I think Michigan is due. And like I said earlier with my Ohio State take, I think they lose to Ohio State by double digits. I think it's not a close one. And I think Ohio State finally, and Ryan Day finally gets that off his back, and he takes care of Michigan. But I don't think Sharon Moore survives. I think he may cry just like he cried when he won as an interim when Harbaugh was fired or suspended, whatever. And I think he gets the boot. And I think Michigan fans are going to start eating all the smack they've been talking the last 4 years, which is rightfully so. Rightfully so. They've won. They won a natty. They beat Ohio State. Blah blah blah. Did they cheat? Probably, but I think they have a bad year. I don't think they have the year. They have the talent, of course. I know, and I'm probably going to eat these words here in a few months. But I would just like to see, and I predict to see that Michigan has a rough go of it this year.
Hey, either you or Dave's gonna be right. Dave says Michigan goes 11-1, so it's either gonna be you or Dave. Bobby Mack says 6-6, so
Hey,
let's just meet in the middle. 8-5,
I
9-3.
think 6-6 and for Michigan is bad. Same for Ohio State. If Purdue goes 6-6, we have a damn parade. If Ohio State goes six and
Bring out the
six,
drum.
the world's burning and everything's going to hell. But it's just different. We're on different levels, and I think even if Michigan goes 6-6, that's a bad year for Michigan. So I could see Bobby Mack. I think I met Bobby Mack a few weeks ago in Columbus when I went to the spring game. I didn't go to the spring game. I tailgated, but I think I met him there. 8-4 from Dave. Hey, even I feel like 8-4 is something they'd be happy for, but they're definitely losing to Ohio State this year.
We'll see. Like I said in the last episode, at this point, I think Ohio State should win, but I'm not going to pick them to win until it actually happens. So, yeah, Bobby says he did. Bobby says he did.
Well, I knew it. I have a memory somewhat.
Yeah.
CTE kicks in once in a while, but
love when Bobby's here. Bobby's great in the chat.
He
said I need to be drug tested though for my bold prediction about Washington. So
people say that a lot to me too. I don't.
Yeah. Well, he's not disliking your Michigan bowl prediction, Bobby, Ohio State fan, Bobby Mack. So, yeah, he's fine with that one, very much so. Okay, number 3 for me, Dylan. I'm gonna actually go against you. My bold prediction is against you here. 0 Big Ten head coaches are fired this year. That is my bold prediction. I honestly think we are going to see less head coaches fired in this day and age of college football with revenue sharing and everything like that. And I also think Billy Napier last year is going to impact some teams. Billy Napier was a coach that probably would have been fired in the normal era of college football, but he had DJ Lagway, who, if he stuck around, DJ Lagway was sticking around. And then on top of that, you're going to revenue sharing, and you don't want to be in the hole, in the red every single year because of one bad fire or something. It's the same reason why I think they fired Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M when they did, even though the buyout was huge. They were like, we got to get this to happen as close as we possibly can. So I do think there is some possibility with Sharon Moore with the sanctions. If something does happen to him, I have no idea what's going to, I'm not even predicting Michigan stuff at this point because I have no idea. I've given some thoughts about some stuff that could happen, but who knows? Luke Fickell is another question mark, but Luke Fickell also got an extension from last year, and I know that was like something that routinely happens every year. His buyout didn't necessarily change, but still, I think that's an indication that he could possibly not be fired. And then Lincoln Riley, I think there's too much investment with USC for them to fire him. I think he's got at least 2 more years, and then also on top of that is the revenue sharing and stuff because it's going to cost a lot of money to fire Lincoln Riley from all the rumors that we hear. So I'm not saying there won't be any coaches that leave. I'm just saying I don't think there will be any that are fired.
Yeah, there's a big difference between leaving and being fired. Did you see the photo Matt Rule posted here? I think it was today or yesterday.
The boombox and the cow.
Yeah, the cow in the background. Like it makes no sense at all. But I thought that was awesome. I love when coaches do random stupid stuff like that. It's always a good time, unless you're Ryan Walters, and oh boy, he posted some things that him dancing in his car when we got Hudson Card, which that ended up being not good. Not saying Hudson Card was a bad quarterback, but he wasn't as good as we thought he was going to be. So it depends. When you play good, you talk a lot, and I mean, is Nebraska there yet? They got Patrick Mahomes Jr. We'll see. But no, I thought that picture was electric. I liked it.
Trojan Fight agrees with me. He says soonest Riley gets fired would be maybe 2027. So, hey, there we go. Trojan Fight agrees. I appreciate it. As long as he's not doing the Brian Kelly, fingers in the front of the eyes.
I strongly dislike Brian Kelly so much.
Yeah, I think everybody does. I've not met a college football fan that's like, I'm a big Brian Kelly fan.
Just like now you say it, never heard that in my life. That's a good point.
Never have
I'm a fan wherever Brian Kelly's coaching. Never have heard that.
That doesn't happen. All right, number 4, Dylan. Your bold prediction number 4.
My beloved Purdue Boilermakers who won one game last year, Indiana State.
45-0.
45-0. This is a big
Hudson
game.
Card set a record.
Had a hell of a game. And that was it. That was all she wrote for that season. Other than that, it was sorrow, sadness. And guess who was at every home game? Yeah, boy. Sat through the Notre Dame loss, sat through the Ohio State loss. It was rough. It was really rough. Now, I know I went on our podcast last season and the year before and this podcast and the OHIO podcast, and I said, Ryan Walters is going to be a hell of a coach. He's going to be a great guy. And people like to give that back to me, which is fully, warranted. Fine. But there will never be a Purdue football coach that I'm not like, I love him, because why would I root for him to fail? I don't care who Purdue hires. They could hire Brian Kelly and I'd be like, hey, you know what? Maybe he's not that bad. Hopefully that never happens.
Big Brian Kelly guy over here.
Yeah. I remember at one point it was after Hazel and there was rumors Les Miles was coming to Purdue. And I was like,
I remember that as well. Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, I could get behind Les Miles at Purdue. In retrospect, very happy that didn't happen because we got Braum, and Braum was awesome. God love him. But I think Purdue, and I hope for my own sanity, Purdue goes 6-6, and we make like a Pop-Tart Bowl or Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, which I don't even think is a thing anymore. But I would love to see Purdue go 6-6, squeak it to a bowl game, and then everybody probably leaves, and it's an LSU in the Citrus Bowl game again, and we lose 100-0. Even if that would make me reasonably happy that we just do that. And the bar is very low for my beloved Boilermakers. But I would love to see Purdue go 6-6 and make a Pop-Tart Bowl. I've said this on our podcast. If I go back in our group chat, I want a Purdue Pop-Tart Bowl championship more than I do a national championship. I love the Pop-Tart Bowl. I think it's genius marketing. They have such amazing mascots and a giant Pop-Tart that the team eats afterward. I would love for Purdue. I would buy all of the Pop-Tart championship bowl gear that my grubby hands could get on. And I'd be thrilled if Purdue were to go 6-6 this year and win a Pop-Tart Bowl.
If Purdue makes the Pop-Tart Bowl and wins it, what player is eating the most of the Pop-Tart?
I'm rushing the field, and I'm going down there, and I'll find a way. I don't have any friends currently on the team right now, but I'll make some. I take that back. Ryan Brown, I've talked to him a few times, quarterback that went to North Carolina and then came back. It's a
fantastic game he had against Illinois.
Hey,
kind of put him on the map a little bit.
Kid's good. Maybe I can get hold of Ryan and he can give me some access. I want to be there next to Barry, and I want to be scooping Pop-Tarts out and just right in the face. I want to be there. I doubt they'll ever give me a press pass if they watched anything I've ever done on the internet. I doubt I'll get a press pass, or I can go off one of my friends, Stu Schweigert. Maybe Stu and I can get field standing ovation. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. I just want to be down there with our MVP, whoever that may be. It's hard telling. I don't know who could be the MVP right now, but I just want to be eating that gigantic Pop-Tart.
It's Devin Mockabee or Ryan Brown, one of those two.
Yeah, and I know Mockabee's dad. I'm good friends with Uncle Mock, I call him. So maybe I can pull some strings there. But one way or another, I'm gonna wedge my way onto that field.
Love it.
If I get arrested afterward and get charged, worth it.
Ate a Pop-Tart.
Guilty as charged. Lock me up.
Pitt Snipe Husker did say, for the sake of contrarianism, I'll be Brian Kelly's only fan. He says in parentheses, somebody's got to do it. So thank you. Thank you, Pitt Snipe Husker, for your sacrifice. We do appreciate it.
God love you.
Hey, and Trojan Fight does make a good point here. Josh Henson could be good for Purdue. I actually had him pretty high in my offensive coordinator rankings with what he did at USC. I know a lot of people just say it was all Lincoln Riley, and don't get me wrong, Lincoln Riley is the offensive coordinator there. I mean, at one point his title literally was head coach / offensive coordinator, but that offensive line was better with Josh Henson there, I believe, and I do think that if Purdue can get their offensive line right, that can be a bright spot for them this year to hopefully get them to 5, 6, maybe even 7 wins or something, and make your bold prediction true there, Dylan.
Well, and I think, too, I believe it's our offensive or defensive coordinator. I can't remember his name. All these coaches are new. It's hard to follow. Has a mullet. Wears a backwards visor. Has a bunch of chew in his jaw. And wears like those real sharp, like cop Oakleys. You know what I mean? Like the party Oakleys, or like the, what do they call them? The new ones the kids wear. Anyway, pit vipers. That's what I'm looking for. He wears those, and that's electric. And I tweeted that Purdue football was back based off of him. And Henson didn't retweet it. He screen grabbed it and then posted it. Kind of lame. Like, give me a little something here, Henson. Geez Louise. But no, I like it. I like what we're doing. I like Josh Henson. I like the staff Barry's put together. I keep calling him Barry like we're on a first name basis. He has no idea who I am, but I like Odom a lot. But we'll see, man. If we got mullets and Chew and Oakley's on the sidelines, I'm all about it. That's what excites me. Give me a mullet, sign me up.
I love it. I love it. Dave's here does make a good point. He says, "Why is there no cereal bowl? The copy would write itself." Listen. There need to be more bowls with food advertised with it, and they need to get rid of the coin toss at the beginning and just make it a food eating competition between each team top offensive lineman, and that team gets to choose the receiving or defending. I think that would be much more entertaining.
We need to start our own marketing firm, specifically college football marketing firm, and we would make millions.
Ashtray, stadiums, hot dog eating contest. Actually, Fruity Pebble eating contest before the game.
Isn't there a Tony the Tiger Bowl in that? Well, that'd be considered a cereal bowl, right?
Yeah, but they don't do anything fun with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I give Pop-Tarts a lot of credit. They kill it. I love what they do there. That's why I want Purdue to go. And it's in Orlando, and I have family there, and I don't have to pay for a hotel, so that's a plus too. But
totally,
I almost went to the LSU Citrus Bowl game. Very happy I did. Thrilled I didn't go to that one.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. All right. My bold prediction number 4. Dylan, the Big Ten will win 50 out of conference games this season.
I like
50 out of conference games. That would mean that the Big Ten would only lose 4 out of conference games. Now, the ones that I'm looking at here that are the biggest contention, we've got Iowa, Iowa State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Northwestern, Tulane, Ohio State, Texas, Purdue, Notre Dame. Don't let us down, Purdue.
Probably will.
And then Wisconsin, Alabama. Other ones in there, I mean, like UCLA and Utah, but I think UCLA should be able to take care of business there, especially with that one being at home. But, I mean, if you only lose 4 of those, if you get the other ones there, hey, that'd be one heck of an out of conference for the Big Ten to win 50 out of conference football games, especially with 9 conference games on the schedule. So I don't know. Am I crazy, Dylan?
No, I think you're a genius in every way, shape, or form. I like that take. I think it's a good one. PK said, I hope DK is paying you money for the viewers you're losing for his takes. I prefaced what I said before this, that if you take my take seriously, that's on you, PK. From one DK to a PK, listen, that's on you, pal.
DK to PK. There we go. Don't worry, PK. Zach has been very pro Indiana lately. Zach will be back next week.
And I love Guggenheim to death, but my goodness.
Dave says, how about Nebraska, Cincinnati? Yep, that's one too. I think, I mean, Nebraska should be able to take care of business there, but I don't know.
I have bad time.
Say Ohio State should be able to take care of business against Michigan, and they lose to them 4 times in a row. So what do I know?
Last time I was at a University of Cincinnati football game, Purdue played there in, it was 2010, 11, and they lost literally like 70-0. And it's crazy. I remember this. Our only plus was Cody Webster, our punter at the time, had like a 80-yard bomb of a punt. That was like all we had. And it was 100 degrees. It was one of the first games of the year. I wore all black like an idiot, and I damn near passed out. And so I've gone to UC for other games, but like I have a lot of UC buddies, and they think UC is the next coming of Ohio State. I don't know. The last time I was at that Nippert, it was not a good time.
Yeah, I'm not a big UC guy. I root for UC because they're in the state of Ohio. But yeah, they have an unhealthy hatred for Ohio State. It's like
they really do.
All right, whatever. It's like when your little brother, who's 6 years younger than you, is like, "I'm gonna beat you in basketball," and it's like, okay, maybe when you grow up someday.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm on a walker. But
listen, my older brother's 10 years older, and he has beat me in everything. We're both way too out of shape to be doing anything physical right now. But like, if I'm sure maybe I'd have a chance. But I get it. Little brother never gets the way.
Trojan Fight says USC likely not beating Notre Dame. I forgot about that game because it's like week 8. Normally the Big Ten has all of their games in like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and I forgot about that one. So, yeah, my 50 game wins for the Big Ten definitely bold. Might be bolder than some of Dylan's predictions, but we'll see what goes from there. So, and Hummus Hero says hello, JR and DK and chat. Thanks for being here, Hummus Hero. We appreciate it. All right. Mike says, "Why am I sweating out Minnesota's trip to Cal? Yeah, they lost a ton on the portal, but those late night West Coast kicks are always tricky. Yeah, I mean, to me, Minnesota and Cal is kind of like Nebraska, Cincinnati, right? Like Minnesota should be able to win it. I guess not exactly that way because that's a neutral site game and it's very close to Nebraska. But it's one of those games where like I'm putting it on the back burner, but going into that week, I am probably going to be giving a little bit more credence to that game. However, Minnesota's good enough that this year they should be able to win that game. So, all right, Dylan, your last and final bold prediction.
I kind of just came up with this one on off the top of my dome.
Good.
And I'm thinking like Ohio State plays Texas. And then after that, I don't know how many other Big Ten SEC games there are. You probably do.
I think it's
But
Michigan and Oklahoma and Wisconsin and Alabama are the only other two.
Wisco, Alabama kind of worries me. I think the Big Ten will come up on top versus the SEC this season. I think I don't want to say a sweep because Bama against Wisconsin worries me. And I don't know anything about Oklahoma, but I feel like Michigan is pretty up, like can compete with Oklahoma. But I feel like the Big Ten will come up winners over the SEC this season. I don't know how that's not scolding hot.
No, but I did think about this. I thought, what if the Big Ten goes winless against the SEC in the regular season, and then they go undefeated against the SEC in
In
the
bold.
playoffs?
I like that. I like that. I do
You
like
want to change
that.
it to that?
Yeah, we'll change it to that.
Okay.
That
All right.
makes me sound smarter.
Winless versus SEC. All right, I'll write that down when it's not my turn to get my bold prediction. All right, number 5, my last bold prediction. I have. Why can't I read? Oh, here we go. I thought I wrote Iowa. I was like, that didn't make any sense. No. 2 Big Ten, and I'm not saying Iowa couldn't do this, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I predict 2 Big Ten teams will go 9-3 and make the playoffs.
I like it.
We had 4 SEC teams last year go 9-3, and all 3 of them, or 3 SEC teams go 9-3 last year, and they all missed the playoffs. I think you get 2 this year in the Big Ten, and they make the playoffs. I'm looking at Ohio State could do that, Michigan could do that, USC I think could do that,
Purdue.
Washington maybe, yep, Purdue, sure. We'll give it to you, Dylan. Penn State. I don't think Penn State's going to go 9-3, but if it happened, I definitely think with all the hype they're getting this season and how highly ranked they're going to be, and they have 3 losses on this schedule that wouldn't knock them too far down the rankings. I mean, if they lose to Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana, depending on how that goes, like those should be high enough ranked teams that they shouldn't get completely knocked out of the playoffs. Yeah, those are my teams that I think that could happen. I'm not sure if there's any other teams. I mean, if Wisconsin goes 9-3, they're in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're going 9-3. My bold prediction was they win 7 games. So, yeah, but yeah, Dylan, is that too bold?
No, I think it's bold, but it's good bold. That's a solid prediction. As always, JR, that big brain of yours.
I try. All right. Max says I think Indiana will have to go 10-2 to make the playoffs given the schedule.
That ain't happening.
I don't think it's I don't think it's so much the schedule. I think it's still just the national perception of Indiana. Like Indiana's probably going to be ranked outside the top 20. I wouldn't personally put them there. I know this is, you might cover your ears now, Dylan. I'm going to say some nice things about Indiana. So, but I think it's still probably the national perception of Indiana that keeps them out if they're 10-2 and less about the schedule. Because you do get at Oregon, at Penn State, Illinois, at Iowa this year. Like, those are some games that you're gonna not get knocked down the rankings too far for, if you lose those. So if you beat Illinois and Iowa, but you lose to at Oregon and at Penn State, you're probably toeing the line of a playoff berth there if that happens.
I hope Dylan Thieneman, who's at Oregon now, has like 7 interceptions against IU. That'd be awesome.
Are you rooting for Dylan Thieneman
Oh
this
yeah,
season?
I like
Okay.
Thieneman. I'm friends with his brother. We've had him on the show a bunch. The Thienemans are good people.
Okay.
I don't blame them. I mean, hell, if Oregon called me and they're like, "Hey, look at all this fancy stuff we have, come on over," I'd be like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a shot." Like, I don't. After a 1-11 season where like you came off an All-American year and you're a hell of a ball player, like I don't blame him. I'm not very like I root for Jeff Brom in Louisville. I'll root for Thieneman in Oregon. I'm not a very like I don't know. I'm not very salty. I don't hold grudges. There are a lot of Purdue fans that give me a lot of hell for still rooting for Jeff Brom, but I enjoy Jeff. His brothers, Jeff, I like.
Oh, there we go. Listen, you just got 10 bold predictions that are happening in the Big Ten this season. If all 10 of these things happen, Dylan and I will definitely take credit.
Yep.
We take payment in the forms of super chats and also donations on Twitter. Dylan, you got
Yes.
your donation open on Twitter?
No, but I will now.
Okay, yeah, get your tips ready. That's the rule. If we get all these right, you guys have to donate and send us tips on Twitter and send super chats here on YouTube. So we'll have a special Dylan episode if we get them all right.
Heck yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right, Dylan. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here?
No, I feel like out of all the huddle episodes I've been on, this may be the one where I've been most professional. And I just want to say pat myself on the back. Uh, and then maybe I'll be allowed on more episodes. Maybe they'll bring me out of the cave once in a while. But no, it's always fun being with you, JR. I love what you do here at the Huddle. You are our fearless leader, and we love you so much.
I appreciate it, Dylan. We are gonna try this season to have more 3-man shows. Me and Zach did a lot of stuff just kind of on our own last season. We're gonna try to do some more 3-man shows. We did that a little bit with the Thursday night episodes, but those weren't able to work out. So we're gonna try to have more people on, and Dylan will definitely try to get you on once or twice during the season. In
Love it.
addition to all the amazing people we have over at the
We have a
College
good
Huddle.
crew. We have a good
We
crew
do.
of folks. I will
We
say
do.
that. Even Kent, he's all right.
Even Kent. We'll see if Kent might do power rankings this season. Again, we'll see.
We'll
So
have to get him from his busy schedule,
yeah, he's the kids and everything else.
from
Busy
his
guy.
2 p.m. college video games and Tuesday. I love it. Like it's 1:30 on a Wednesday, and I see Kent's live playing NCAA, and I'm like, hell yeah, Kent.
He didn't have any dogs to sit that day. So
Yeah, yeah. It's not like dogs can't watch themselves most of the time, but
that's true. Oh boy. All right. Check Dylan out over at Boiler Express at Boiler Express _ on Twitter. DK saying things Twitter over there as well. He doesn't want to give out his real name because he has a real job now. So got to be careful with that.
now I have an actual real job.
So listen. If we want unfiltered DK, we got to let him have some anonymity here.
Yeah, listen, we're getting there. I think my principal one day, she's like, I watched the podcast. I'm like, don't ever do that again, please. Don't ever, like, please don't. You will think much poorly of me.
I'm never gonna tell anybody when I'm on a podcast. So
Good. That's how I do it. Incognito.
there you go. All right, everybody. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening to the YouTube live stream as well. We will catch you. I'll have Chris Drew with me on Tuesday night. We'll be talking about Big Ten offensive line, as also standard news notes, stuff like that going on in the Big Ten. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Have a good one.